You brought us some local plants to Arizona that we can try.
Yeah. These were wild harvested at the Salt River yesterday.
How much am I going to hallucinate after I eat these?
Once the cameras go off, I'll tell you.
All right, sweet. It's going to be a weird afternoon. Brought some traps.
We'll check the traps out.
All right. We'll put the old towel down just in case, because these can be pretty intense.
Yeah.
So what kind of trap is this?
So this is a 220 conibear trap, and this is used to capture animals like possums or raccoons sized animals.
I heard their motto was animals go in, they don't come out.
So we got the springs here on the side, and these compress, and then these jaws will actually come up. So it'll look kind of like this when it's set, but the jaws will come up.
That is insane.
So it's sitting on its side? Is that how it goes?
Yeah, so it'll be sitting like with the jaws facing up. So this would go in front of like an animal hole or den. Or on a trail to where it kind of is forced to go through. Okay. And then this is the trigger. So this little, it's called a dog, which I'll show you how it works with the smaller one. So this sits on top of the trigger, and these springs would be compressed and these jaws put together. So when it goes through, it's called a body grip style trap. It's a kill trap. Yeah, so it kills. It kills
game. Yeah. It doesn't just trap them.
And it does a good job. I would say they're pretty dangerous. I'm not going to set this one up today, but you have like certain tools you can use to set it.
Don't use your bare hands if you don't have to.
Yeah, I've used like just a piece of rope to compress the springs, and it always makes me nervous every time.
Especially if it's a kill trap, that can break your bones.
Oh, it can definitely break your bones. It's pretty dangerous, especially if you're alone and you get trapped in one. You better know what you're doing, because you're going to have a pretty bad day. And then here's the small version of that. It's the 110 conibear. Okay. So I'll show you how it works real quick. This is called the dog. Okay. So the dog's going to flip on top of this trigger, and whenever the trigger moves, you'll see it'll fire. And so here's the spring. So I'm just going to line these both up, and I'm going to compress this spring here with my hand, and then these are going to be compressed together. So now it's pretty much set, and I'm going to move see how that spring, if that pops and lets go, it's going to pop my hand pretty bad. So I'm going to put the dog on here on the trigger. You got to be careful.
Don't let that dog bite you.
Yeah, so
hair of the dog.
Yeah.
So now it's I'm going to put my hand over here and move quickly.
Hold it in place.
Yeah, and so now this would be something to trap like muskrats with. Okay. Maybe some fat squirrels or a rabbit or something like that. And so I'll show you how this works. You would place it over on a trail or over the hole. Okay. And when the animal comes through, it's going to push that trigger, which...
Wait, let's get it pointed that way, just so your close-up can see it.
So it's going to push this trigger, which pops this little dog off, which is holding it in place. And it's going to snap.
Dang, dude.
Yeah, and it's it would not be fun to get stuck in this thing, even your hand's stuck in it.
My towel's getting it.
Yeah, even the towel's crying.
So that's the 110 conibear.
Okay.
Yep. Conibear. And then we have his foothold traps. So this, this is a foothold trap. This is a...
that's the trap you see on like Looney Tunes and stuff.
Right. Yeah, so this is a number 3 Sleepy Creek. And we'll talk about... a lot of people really don't like this trap. Because it catches the foot of the animal. Right. It doesn't kill it. Okay. So I've actually heard it said that the conibear traps were created by the animal rights, like an animal rights organization. Okay. So that it's an instant kill, and the animal doesn't have to suffer. So with trapping and hunting and anything like that, like animal suffering is kind of part of
absolutely
what you're signing up for.
Yeah.
But these actually don't make the animal suffer as much as a lot of people think, because a lot of people think that they have the jaws on them, like the teeth. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You see like that you see in cartoons that has the teeth, but those have been illegal.
It just holds it. Obviously, it's really painful.
Right. And they do even have ones that will have like a little space in between. And then they'll have ones with like rubber to help the animal. But a lot of times, like, animals will just get trapped and then they'll just sit still. Okay. And they won't you hear horror stories of animals that have like chewed their limbs off, but that's not like the normal, that's not the norm. So we do want to use these in a way that there's no getting around it.
You don't want to just leave your trap out and leave it there for a week without checking it, so they're like dying.
You want to do every ethical thing you can for the animal, but trapping's just a dirty job. It's that's just all there is to it. So this is I think it's a number 3 Sleepy Creek double long spring, and this size trap would be for coyotes and bobcats. Okay. And then we have here.
Can I hold this? Is this safe for me?
Yeah, that's safe. You're good. Okay.
Check that out. It's intense.
I'm not even strong enough to use this. You gotta like squeeze this thing up.
Yeah.
Wow. And then you're gonna show us this one here.
Right. And so this is the number 11 Sleepy Creek double long spring.
So the smaller version of that, right?
Yeah, it's basically the smaller. So this is what it looks like when it's open.
Okay.
Yeah. So this one's set already.
Okay.
And you have the parts of this trap are the dog.
Okay.
Which is the same thing that we had, but it's the same purpose.
Okay.
And then the pan, and these are called the jaws and the springs.
Okay.
And so you open it up, and you can see you compress these springs down, and then you flip the dog over one of the jaws, and then you push the pan up, and the pan holds it in place. And so what you'll do is you would bury this.
You wouldn't want to be panhandling, I tell you.
So you would you bury this in the ground, and you put it wherever the animals are going to be traveling, or however you want to do it.
Wherever busy foot traffic might be.
Basically, yeah.
Foot traffic.
And so this would be trapped for
nice.
A lot smaller stuff. You could probably get coons and stuff with this trap. It's really not. I guess it could take a coon, but maybe even smaller stuff. I think like mink would be used for this one. I haven't even used foothold traps, but Dusty wanted me to bring them. So
it's cool. We just want to see it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so the way this works is the animal steps on it and it just traps their foot, and then that's it. Yeah. So these really aren't. There's not as much power going into these as there is with the conibear traps, because what's happening is this spring's compressing, and then it just makes it to where these can't open.
Yeah, it's hard to open that thing.
Right. So there's not like a whole lot of force on the animal. In fact, biologists will use this to capture animals, for studies and stuff like that. And you can see videos of them going up and taking this off the animal's foot, and then they just run away. And so usually it's not damaging the animal, but that's kind of the biggest. A lot of people really, as soon as I start talking about trapping, they
kind of start squealing.
Right.
Squeaming.
Yeah. And then we'll just talk about the friction fire set.
Yeah, so you brought us a friction fire set, and actually a little bit later for the bonus footage, we're going to actually show you making a fire from this kit.
Yeah.
So stick around for that.
So I'll show you how this works really quick. Friction fire, so it's called the Boudreaux method. And the way this works is this spindle fits into this piece here that we've cut the notch out. And it fits into this, what's called a bow. It's just like a bow and arrow.
And you made all of this stuff. Right. We're going to show that too.
Yeah. I went and got this stuff yesterday. That's what we were doing at the Salt River. We went and got just a piece of cottonwood, and this is a piece of willow. And so this is a piece of 550 cord I've just tied on, and it goes into the bow like that. It wraps around, and then this goes into the little notch we've made.
Okay.
And we have our handhold. So this is just a rock with a little indention in there. And once we'll get down and show you with the bonus footage, but you just put your hand here, and then it'll spin. I can't make it spin because usually I have my foot on it, but
We'll show that.
Yeah.
We'll
So
show
that's how it
you.
works. That's the idea.
That's
Yeah.
awesome.
Yeah, and then it creates a pile of dust.
I can smell it just from that one little spin.
Yeah, you can smell it already. But it creates a pile of dust and it ignites it. And what you'll end up with is a coal, kind of like the end of a cigar when it's
Okay.
lit. Yeah, so it'll just be this slow burning coal, and then you'll use that to create a fire.
That's really cool.
Yeah.
Awesome, man. Stick around for that footage at the end,
Yes,
because you'll see it.
Yeah, don't dip it. Bless you.
Thanks.
All right, and then finally you brought us some wild edibles, right? Because
Yes.
you're all into plants.
Right.
You brought us some local plants to Arizona that we can try.
Yeah. These were wild harvested at the Salt River yesterday.
How much am I going to hallucinate after I eat these?
Once the cameras go off, I'll tell you.
All right, sweet. It's going to be a weird afternoon.
We have church today.
I know.
It's going to be one
weird
spiritual
church.
experience.
Okay, y'all want to try it?
Yeah. So
Yeah,
what is
yeah.
this? Tell us.
So
what
this is called goosefoot, and it's in the same genus as spinach and quinoa. You know what
Okay.
quinoa is?
Yep. Yep.
So this plant is, they call it wild spinach or goosefoot because the leaves can almost look like a goose footprint sometimes.
And where did you forage this?
This was at the Salt River. This was just growing.
Okay.
So it's just a common weed. There's really nothing out of the ordinary about it. They just grows up. I mean, there's probably some growing up, just along the block in the sidewalk. But it's a good edible plant.
Bottoms up.
Bottoms up. Oh my God,
And I've eaten this
so cool.
stuff in, I think a type of it grows in all 50 states.
Okay.
So you can pretty much find it everywhere.
Doesn't taste much like goose though.
4 feet.
A little more like feet.
And this is unrinsed, straight from nature.
Perfect. It's good. Tastes like what I had, in a normal like spring mix or whatever.
Yeah, a lot of people don't realize that some of the weeds growing in their garden are just as good and more healthy than the ones that they're trying to grow to just pop up. Yeah. And
It's really not that bad.
I got a bad one.
you got a bad one?
Did you?
That was a duck foot. That
got
wasn't
a-
a goose foot.
Yeah.
A little wild animal pee on
Yeah.
that.
It can get a little bitter, I've noticed, because our soil here is so I don't know what,
Dry.
just like salty and
Oh.
yeah, because every other state
that's
I've
good.
eaten this in, it's kind of to me known as being a plant that just always tastes good, even when it gets older. Like most plants, when they get older, they get kind of like tough and bitter.
Okay.
So this plant, I've always thought of it as a plant that like even when it's old, it still tastes really good. But in this state, usually I can find it. Sometimes it's like hit or miss. It could be like really bitter. This isn't that bad.
It tasted like, like you said, I kind of already taste like there's salt on it.
Does it taste a little salty?
Yeah.
Yeah. Sometimes if it's a little bitter, you just cook it up and it'll cook it away,
I
and
don't
it's
mind
way
it.
better.
Yeah, I think it tastes
Yeah.
really good.
This is addition versus submission. Sinners need forgiveness. Surrender to his lordship. Don't extort the grace he's given. See, I'm blessed by the one, Yahweh, all day. I'm a wretched sinner, deserve hell for always.